This is the Action Movie Guys podcast, bringing you action movie reviews from across the decades, plus box office numbers and insight like never before. And now, your hosts of the Action Movie Guys podcast, Alex and Nate.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode number 222 of the Action Movie Guys podcast. I'm your host, Nate, with my co-host,
Alex Figueroa.
And this week, we have a very special episode. Why is it special? Because this movie is special. And we're going to be doing our final video game adaptation action film. This comes in the form of the 2006 film directed by Corey Yoon called DOA, Dead or Alive. Alex, have you ever seen this film before this viewing?
Okay, two things. One, never heard of it. Two, I didn't even know this thing came out until you said, hey, dude, we're doing this. And I was like, all right.
Okay, and then I got to ask you, have you played or are you familiar with the games that this movie is based?
I am familiar because I always remember that they had like the big boob mode. And then you see the big
super
boobs
jiggling
bouncing.
boobs and once they went to like the next gen consoles.
Yeah, and then they played volleyball. I remember it was volleyball.
There was a DOA volleyball game, yes.
Yeah, so that I remember.
Okay, so yeah, and the games themselves, DOA, I want to say 4 or 5, one of them is a good fighting game. Think more like Tekken. They're more like Tekken kind of 3D fighting games, but they're fun. I do like fighting games. So I have played the games. I think they're fine. I never played the volleyball game, but I remember it existed when I was in high school. So I remember a lot of friends played that game. Creeps. But let me tell you something. This movie, let's get some Rotten Tomato scores now. This has a 33% critics. So, to be honest, not different than some of these Resident Evil movies we've been doing, right? 33, pretty low. Audience score, 36, also pretty low. But this is the best part. Box office, which we don't really do, but I just had to read it because it's hilarious. A box office of $480,000. Thousand, not million, thousand. So it didn't even make $500,000. And maybe, you know what? Maybe it's because you've never heard of it. So no one's heard of it and they didn't go see it.
I don't think people heard of it, dude.
And we got to keep with the theme. This was, of course, produced by Paul W.S. Anderson, who just did all the Resident Evil movies that we reviewed. Now, let's get into it. Lead character. Now, we decided to score the 3 female leads. They are, of course, Kasumi, who's played by Devin Aoki. They are Tina, who is played by Jamie Presley.
And Christine.
And Christy, which is played by Holly Valance. Now, Alex, what'd you think of these ladies?
I gave them a 3. I liked them.
1 point for each.
I would say 1 point for each. I will say this. Before we start going down the line, I am not judging by acting because these movies have nothing to do with the acting here. We all know how bad these movies are with acting, and you can see the trailer for yourself. I'm talking about how are their characters, how are they with the fighting styles and all that, because it's a fighting game.
Yes.
Does it resemble Dead or Alive? That is what I'm critiquing here. I gave them 1 point each. I think they were good. I enjoyed it. This is a really wrong movie to judge because it is very creeper mode. This is very creeper, man. I feel this is very bad right now. But I will say three gorgeous. I mean, all the women were gorgeous in this movie. Christine,
even
I think,
men mostly are pretty good looking. Everyone's
even the men were hot. Even Kevin Nash. So
Kevin Nash, bro.
Say,
Okay, Kevin Nash.
I would say this. Yeah. Tina and all of them, to be really honest with you, some of them fit the role. They did Tina was the Southern girl accent, and she always played that character in like something Earl. She was in that TV show. Earl. Yeah, and she was the same type of character, just without fighting. Yeah. So she was pretty good in that. Christine was good. She was more of like a cat burglar thief, but she was a fighter. And then Kasumi. She was Kasumi. Yeah, Kasumi. She was like a princess of an assassin group. Right. She was okay for what it was, but other than that, like I give it a 3. They were good.
Okay,
for what they were.
I'm a little bit lower than you. I gave him a 2. Now, the 2 points are for... I love Jamie Presley, by the way. Yes, My Name is Earl, not another teen movie. She has pretty good comedic timing. She mostly does comedies, but she trained like crazy for this. Like, she does a lot of her own fighting in this movie. And she learned how to do like the little kip up and all this kind of stuff. So like, because it was really her, you could tell. Out of respect for her hard work, plus I always liked her. I always had like, when I was younger, I always had a little crush on her because, you know, she had that Southern thing and I live in Florida. So it's like, I didn't know people who look like her, obviously, but that were kind of like that. And I do think Christy is an interesting character. She, like you said, she plays a like master thief woman who has this guy named Max that she works with, and she's very spy, espionage, like, you know, Bond villain or Bond girl type thing. And then we have Kasumi. Now, here's where we minus a point. Because first of all, when this movie started, I thought it took place in like ancient Japan. Because they're in like old, like she's in a dress and they're like, her. By the way, her acting's the worst. She's the worst out of all of them. Devin Aoki. Okay, I love her in Sin City because she doesn't talk. She just kills people, right? She's mute. As soon as she opens her mouth, I'm like, oh no, she's not good. She was in Too Fast, Too Furious. She talks in that movie too, but she doesn't have to say much. She's in like one scene. Here, she has to act and she is horrible. But her storyline, I mean, I guess it's interesting. Like her brother went missing and she wants to go find him. But I thought they lived in like ancient Japan, and then she jumps off over the wall and all of a sudden she got like mechanical hang glider thing, and all of a sudden she catches this little boomerang that says DOA on it. She just knows what that means. So her storyline's pretty stupid, but I gave them a 2. I think Tina's the best out of the 3 for me. I think she has the best, Jamie Presley is the best actress out of the 3 of them. She has the most personality. I like the stuff with her and Kevin Nash. He plays her dad named Bass. They're wrestlers. So she has that kind of dynamic where every time he pops in to like fight her, she's like doing something questionable and he's like, what the heck? Like, I'll come back later. And she's like, no, let's fight or whatever, you know? I thought that was pretty funny. It's stupid, but it was funny. So I gave him a 2, you gave him a 3. Okay, main villain, this is our man. Our main man. Hasn't been seen since what? Which he was in one of the
Expendables 1.
Yeah, Expendables 1, but wasn't he in
and
like...
then the Tequila Sunrise.
Tequila Sunrise. Our main man, Eric Roberts. Guess what his name is? Donovan. Donovan.
Well, Donovan, I am slapping him with a 4. He is just such a B. He's a B-list actor. Oh, and man, let me just tell you, in this movie, he delivers the B. Because he's good. I mean, look, out of everyone, he was actually really good. As the villain of the movie, he fights everybody because he has glasses that downloaded their DNA and how they fight.
It's like Resident Evil with the contact lenses.
You can't just make that shit up.
All their moves.
They do all their moves.
Yeah,
man. I gave him a 4. I thought he was good. Yeah, he killed the guy who runs the DOA. So I gave him a 4. I thought he was horrible but good.
You know what? I agree with. I gave him a 3. I agree with you in a lot of respects. You have to. I think so. If it's not already known, you have to watch this movie through a very, very specific lens. Okay, you really do. This crap has a 33%, and it made $400,000. You're not watching Shakespeare here, okay? Now, I don't even know if this came out in the theaters in the US. I'm pretty sure it only made that in in England or something, and then it came out on DVD here. So this is like pretty much a straight to DVD movie, directed by the guy who did The Transporter. And so, you know, come on. We're not talking high art. Eric Roberts, however, he is high art. He is high art. He got long hair. He got muscles, kind of. He has like old guy muscles, you know?
Yeah, he got
like,
looking good.
Yeah, he got tan. I'm like, oh, this guy's a bad guy right away. He's like, welcome to DOA. And they're all staying in like this tropical island in a hotel. And he's like, you guys will fight each other anytime, anywhere. And whoever knocks the other one out, that's who wins. You know what? Well, this is more storyline. I'll save it. But yeah, I thought he was good. I mean, he's definitely hammy. He's definitely cheesy. But I think out of everybody, him and Kevin Nash especially, they knew what kind of movie they were in. You know what I mean? He knew. He was like, nah, this movie's fake. I'm just going to go full on handball. And he did. He was a ham. I dug him. As far as a villain goes, he works for this kind of movie. He kidnaps the best fighters, makes them fight, and then has these glasses that download all their techniques. So no matter what fighting he's fighting, he knows the counter moves and stuff like that. Yeah, it's pretty horrible, but I still gave him a 3. I thought he was fun. Okay, action.
I gave it a 5.
Wow.
It was, look.
Wow.
Okay, well,
No, hey,
was it bad action? No, I thought the fightings were really good. I mean, was it over the top? I mean, if you watch old martial arts movie, they're running on top of fucking logs and stuff like that, like with rope. So, like, I'm looking at it as is it that bad? I mean, I've seen bad action, like Hard Target 2. That was bad as it comes.
Yeah.
But this one was actually really good hand to hand. I know people are gonna kill me for this, but I thought it was way better hand to hand fighting than Mortal Kombat 1. I'll say that. Whereas Mortal Kombat 1 was not that good of a martial arts movie. Let's just be honest. And that was Mortal Kombat, right? Street Fighter was not good at all. We're gonna do it.
They don't even have fight like real fights.
They don't even have fighting. Yeah, they don't.
This
This
like a military movie.
I would say this one at least simulates the fighting. You have the thing going fight, and then all of a sudden you see them fighting, and then Christine wins like mad. Like a very video game thing. Yes. I enjoy the fighting. I thought the fighting was pretty cool. I liked it. It was in different locations. I liked when the girl fought the assassin girl that had to kill her because she left the clan. I thought that was a pretty cool fighting sequence. Yeah, the purple hair girl. When they fought in the forest with the bamboo sticks, I thought that was actually a really cool fighting sequence. You know what? I know everyone gave it their all or whatever, and I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. I know this is not a really good movie for what it is, but I thought the fighting was actually really good for a B. I thought it was gonna be really bad, really, really bad. But this was actually really good, especially from the females. I thought so. I give it a 5. It
definitely is a B movie. I'm not at a 5, but I'm gonna actually second a lot of what you said. The actual fights, say for one or two are kind of dumb. Like, I don't like the one where Kevin Nash and James Presley are on the little boat and they're like, first one that falls in, and then they're doing all this, like, it's goofy. You know what this reminds me of? Like a Jackie Chan style.
Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah, like goofy comedy action. And then every once in a while they throw in a fight that's kind of cool. I do like the one with Helena Christie in the rain, where it's like raining and they're fighting. A good one. I thought that looked pretty cool. Like it reminded me of an old martial arts, or like a very Chinese influenced martial arts. The one in the woods with the bamboo. The only part I hate about that is how she leaves. She just like flies into the air like she's Superman and disappears. I was like, okay, sure. Now, this movie doesn't obey physics. So those are kind of things you gotta. There's one part where Jamie Presley in slow motion does a kick where she jumps off the floor sideways, does a kick, and somehow like lands on her feet. Impossible, can't be done. But if you look at something like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, they like jump on top of trees and run on the leaves and stuff. So it's that wuxia, I think, is the style of movie. And Corey Yuen, he comes from China. He directed martial arts movies. So he infuses that style into this really, really super crap USB movie, pretty much. I did give it a 4. Some of the action's bad, like some of it's real corny, and then they mix in these legitimately solid fights, honestly. Now, you do have the other stupid stuff. The beginning part with Christie's horrible, where she like throws her bra in the air and like beats guys up, and then it like lands right on her like that. But, I think it's done for laughs, and so you don't take it seriously. You know what I mean? So yeah, I gave it a 4. I thought it was one of the probably the best part. All right, storyline now, Alex. Tell me about the storyline that the writer described as Charlie's Angels meets Enter the Dragon. That's what he said he was writing. Charlie's Angels with Enter the Dragon, starring Bruce Lee.
I could see a little of the why he said Charlie's Angels, because the girls all walking together and hanging out. I can see that.
Enter the Dragon, because it's a fighting tournament on an island. So
I can see that.
That's what he was mixing.
I definitely could see that, but just poorly executed. Let's just put it that way. Like, it was poorly executed, but I could see those elements. When you say that, I could say, okay, you know what? Yeah, I can see the Charlie with Tina, Christy, Kasumi all together. Even they had in Helena, because she was part of them too.
Towards the end, yeah.
Yeah, and then the purple hair girl too. So I could see that. My problem, I get this a 2. I thought it was decent. Because I like the brother getting lost, and she didn't know where the brother was, and she had to go find him, so she joined the tournament. I was like, you know what? That's pretty cool, but the way, again, horrible execution. She jumps off a fucking cliff, and she had a parachute already, which I was like, where did this parachute come from? And she was fighting with the parachute, dude,
right,
against all those dudes. But
it was a hang glider, like a big mechanical. I think gotta be heavy. Like, come on.
It was mad heavy. But anyway, again, it is what it is. But I will say, I gave it a 2. The storyline, to me, I wasn't watching this for storyline. Like, really, I knew going into this movie, I knew the storyline was not going to be as good. but I was kind of like shocked because I kind of enjoyed the brother getting lost and then at the end they find him again. So I was like, okay, cool. But come on, let's be all honesty here. We're not watching it for the storyline. Because if we had to put a category, it should have just been freaking, I don't even know what to call it. But you know what I'm thinking. Because you already know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It would have been like the horn dog.
The
horn dog freaking rating. Because freaking honestly, there's a lot of shots in this movie that did not to be there. There was a lot of shots
overall because
we could talk about that overall. Look, other than that storyline, I gave it a 2. I thought it was a decent storyline. Not as crazy bad, but it was decent.
Yeah, I gave it a 1. But I could see where that writer's coming from too. Okay, it does seem like the recent McG Charlie's Angels, the Cameron Diaz,
that one.
It has that spirit. And yeah, Enter the Dragon. Okay, a fighting tournament on an island where they're trying to infiltrate it. Okay. But you're right. I mean, horribly executed. Horribly. And then he just wrote in too much. There's too much cheese to take it seriously at all. Yeah, it's really bad. The script is horrible. You have literally a scene where this character named, what's that guy's stupid name? Weatherby or Wallaby or something like that. The
Weatherby.
Scientist, Weatherby. He's having an imagination with little hearts, and he's in love with the girl. And I'm like, what is this? What
she
am I
was
watching?
Hot though, Helena.
Oh, listen, all the women are beautiful in this movie. Why is this scene in this movie? This is very stupid. I hated that. His character is just annoying. He's when they're the dialogue is just so horrible. He's when that thing goes off and he gets the glasses and the girl's like, is it going to work? And he goes, yeah, of course. I made it. What does that mean? You made it, so anything you make is guaranteed to work. Shut up, Weatherby. Yeah, Weatherby's an idiot. I hate Weatherby. And then, you had Hayabusa, who's... Oh, by the way, all these characters, straight out the game. Hayabusa, Kasumi, Tina, they're all in the game. And also, what's his face? Bass, he's in the game. And the black guy with the green hair, with the one green hair, he's in the video game as well. So, at least they got the characters right. They actually got characters who are in the game and they fight. Also, they made a weird decision to literally make this like a video game where when they're fighting on screen and one of the shots, they have energy bars at the top of the screen. And I'm like, nah. Okay, it's just if they would have left that out, I could have enjoyed it a little more, but I'm like, this is so stupid. So it's a 1, but granted, we'll get to overall. So it is a 1 though. It's really horribly written. Okay, what is your overall score for DOA, Dead or Alive?
I'm gonna shock you, bro. I'm gonna shock you.
Oh no.
I know this is gonna sound weird, but I kind of like this movie. I thought it was good. Not for reasons, of course, with the females and all this. I didn't care for that. Yeah. I kind of enjoyed it for what it was. It was a video game movie. It was plain old video game. It's not the greatest video game movie ever, but I enjoyed it for what it was. I gave it a 3 out of a 5. I thought it was good. For me, I thought it was entertaining. Yeah. The fighting was good.
It's short.
It's short.
80 minutes long or something.
Yeah, it's a very out of a bin garbage movie. It's watchable crap. I'm sorry to say it, but it's very watchable crap. I know we've been saying this a lot lately, but it's a very watchable crap. And you know why? Because of these taglines. I'm going to read you the taglines from the posters.
Please.
Here we go. One of them says, they have the looks that kill. The other one is, the world's deadliest assassins will enter. Only the best will survive.
Ooh,
right?
Gotta get that.
The other one goes, killer looks are nothing without the right moves. Then this is the last one, but I thought it was good. They're the ultimate fighters. They got the looks, they got the moves, and the men fall at their feet.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not going to lie with that. I thought the movie was actually really good. Again, it's watchable crap. Not in the sense that it's really, really good, but it's a really good movie. Watchable crap, $2 bin. Actually, I would purchase this if I find it for like $2. I will add it to the collection.
Now, let me tell you something.
You have it.
let me, you know what? I'm glad you read those quotes because I read this to my brother when I had to watch this yesterday. Check, you know how these movies, they put these quotes on them on the back? It's one breathless martial arts action sequence after another from James O'Haley from Sci-Fi Movie Page. Okay, but here's my favorite quote. On the front of the box, right here at the bottom, it says, the best movie adaptation of a video game so far, quoted to nobody. It's attributed to no one. So they just put a quote on the bottom and they just said it. This is the best movie ever made. This is the best movie of all time. I think you got to respect them for just putting a quote on there without actually having, the name of the person who made the quote. They just made it up themselves. Listen, watchable crap doesn't begin to describe what this movie is. If this movie was made in the 80s, it probably would have been a hit. It really feels like, I'm not even lying. It really feels like those old 80s, like what was that guy's name? You guys will know if say his, what's the freaking guy's name? He did like a lot of Canon film. Like this feels like a Canon Films movie.
Oh, like Tom Atkins?
No, what's that guy's name? Michael Dudikoff. You ever seen any Michael Dudikoff movies?
Yeah, sure, but yeah.
Okay, this is the women Michael Dudikoff movies. This would fit right in with those kind of movies, right? Super out of this world plot, but it has a lot of action in it and a lot of fighting. Here's where I gave it a 2 overall. And for me, I agree with you. This might be one of the most watchable craps we've ever done because it's one of the most craps, I think. And yet you can get through it. But why I had to mark off is watching this in 2023 is just so pervy. Like there's movies that have nudity in them. You know what I mean? And whatever, if it fits the movie, if there's a certain dynamic to it, I understand it. But this literally has shots of like just women's crotches, like the camera's just on their crotch. And then it like slowly pans up their body. There's one shot where they're on the beach and the camera's behind one of the girls and it just shoots the other girl from between her legs. And I'm like...
The blue panty one, right? I mean, not the
This was when Helena was fighting Christy.
Yes.
It goes right between
volleyball.
her legs. Yeah, and I'm like, what is like, come on, man. This is it becomes uncomfortable at times. If those were cut out or cut down, I would probably like it a little more, but I was just like, okay, this I was watching this by myself and I felt like someone was judging me for watching it. And there was maybe it was God judging me like, why are you watching this, man? So, if they tone down the pervy stuff a little bit, I will say the women look gorgeous. They all seem game. It doesn't seem like any of them had a problem with it, or I guess, I don't know, they were having a good time. And this was 2006. Let's remember. Different time. It's a touchy subject. I don't know. But I'm going to give it a 2. I will not be getting rid of this Blu-ray, though. This is a movie that, like, you need to show people. You need to be like, bro, have you ever seen DOA, Dead or Alive? And when they say no, you just sit down and watch it. It is a lot of fun, and it is really horrible. So, Alex, what is your total points?
Well, let me just, before I give that, you're absolutely right. This is the first movie I think we've seen that the cameras are all over the females. I mean, from every direction, from Tina when she's on the boat, she comes out the water. Christy when she's naked, pretty much she's
naked. Yeah.
No, she puts on her underwear first. She tells the guy, "Hey, can you get the underwear?" And you see her literally putting it on, slowly. And you see her just go right through the towel.
Yeah,
like. And then she does the bra and you see side boob and then she throws it in the air and you see her doing the fight sequence and then she puts it on. First it was CGI because you just saw it was a CGI bra put on. So I was just like, that is so weird. Then you see throughout the whole movie, they're all wearing just bikinis or elaborate like whatever. And it was a weirder movie. Like when you really sit down, it was just very
I mean, it fits the game. So the game is kind of pervy while still being mechanically a good game, but it is pervy. I just feel like this movie couldn't get made now. It would never even come close.
I took a shower because I felt dirty after watching this movie.
I was being judged by a ghost and you had to like wash yourself.
I had to take a shower, bro. I was like, I don't know what's going on here. I was like, this, I felt so uncomfortable.
And yet I can't help but recommend it. Like, you kind of have to see it to believe it, type of thing.
I agree. I mean, I'm gonna purchase it, but I told my wife, I said, "You gotta watch this movie. You might." I was like, "You might like it." But yeah, look. With that said, I gave this movie a 17 out of a 25.
I have it at a 12, mostly because that story is horrible and the lead all the acting's really bad, actually. Except Eric Roberts, he's awesome.
He's good.
Yeah, but he's great. So 12 for me, 17 for you. This wraps up our video game franchise. So how do we move on from this? Well, guess what, Alex? We're doing 2 more video game movies. Now, this was completely coincidental, but starting the rest of January, we're going to do a new format just for this month where we are actually going to be watching movies that only have 2 in their respective series. So what does that mean? First up, we will be doing Lara Croft Tomb Raider and Tomb Raider 2, The Cradle of Life with Angelina Jolie. The first one's a video game adaptation. The second one's not really. Then the next week, we will be doing Desperado and Once Upon a Time in Mexico, starring our main man, Antonio Banderas. Then we will be doing Charlie's Angels and Charlie's Angels 2, the Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu, Drew Barrymore ones. And then at the end of the month, we will be doing Sherlock Holmes and Sherlock Holmes 2, A Game of Shadows. So these are basically, with these actors, franchises with just 2 movies. No, not counting reboots or if there's a third one that comes out later, I don't know. So that's what we're going to be doing for January. It's going to be fun. That way we could do every week. You'll get both movies, one right after the other. So, and then in February, we go back to our old franchise and category.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's pretty cool. I haven't seen, it's funny because I wanted to see the Lara Croft once we did the remake. I wanted to see the Angelina Jolie ones. We didn't. Now we have those. Can't wait to see the Sherlock Holmes. I remember liking those a lot. I was really big into it. I mean, I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan, but I remember liking the Guy Ritchie versions.
I love them too. And I haven't seen them. Yeah. The one I'm most excited for January, the one single movie, Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I have not watched that in like 15 years, at least.
I have not seen Desperado and Once Upon a Time in years.
I love Desperado, but Once Upon a Time in Mexico, been forever. So we're going to find out if it's still good.
All right. So there you have it, guys. You guys want to follow us on our social media accounts. Please follow Nate over on Instagram at Netflix Reviews. Check out the podcast with him and his friends called Netflix Movie Reviews. Anything action movie, guys, head over to youtube.com/Geeks and Flicks for the video version of the podcast. You guys can now follow us on our brand new Instagram account, Action Movie Guys Podcast, over at Instagram. So again, at Action Movie Guys Podcast, or you guys want to support the channel, www.geeksandflicksstore.com. There's merch there, there's t-shirts, there's cups, there's anything for Action Movie Guys, and of course, Geeks and Flicks. There's gonna be new shirts coming out soon. I'm still working on the website. Everything's still under construction. Other than that, he is your host,
Nate from Netflix Reviews.
I'm his co-host, Alex Figueroa. Be awesome to each other and geek out.